Good day, folks, and welcome back to Ed's Garage at Merton Hyundai. How's everybody doing today? Sorry, it's been a little while since my last video. A lot has happened in the last month, and I just unfortunately haven't had a lot of time on my hands. And to be quite honest, there hasn't been a lot of new vehicles coming in either, so actually producing a video just wasn't really in the cards. But yeah, hope you all had a great Christmas and a fun New Year. But today what we're going to be looking at is a 2023 Palisade. Now this Palisade is a new trim level for Canada. It's called the LE. Now we've had a couple other vehicles show up in the LE packages, like there was a Kona LE, etc. But this is a very weird, unique package. You can really tell where they kind of cut costs a little bit, because essentially this is the lowest price Palisade that you can currently get, but it's still very, very well equipped. Surprisingly though, there are features that you wouldn't expect Hyundai to cut out on, but I think what they did was they looked at the fact that, well, they needed to produce a lower priced vehicle than the Palisade preferred, but at the same time, of course, with the chip shortage the way it is, you know, had to reduce some feature content and stuff like that based on the lack of chips. So to give you an idea, I mean, this vehicle has navigation, but it has turnkey start. Kind of weird, but anyway, let's cover all the features on this beautiful 2023 Palisade. Now, of course, for 2023, the Palisade did change. It got a bit of a facelift update, and you can see the beautiful blacked out grille on this one. You got the blacked out Hyundai badge as well. So a little bit of Palisade urban vibes here going as well. You can see we've got the forward-facing radar on the front, and there's also the camera in the windshield. So this vehicle does have adaptive cruise and autonomous emergency braking. It's got lane keep assistance, pedestrian detection, etc. It's also got LED headlights, the full LED lighting system, so LED high beams as well as low beams, and then of course you got the cool LED daytime running light, and of course they've carried over the little extra pass-through light there as well. Turn signals are sort of integrated into the grille, which looks really, really nice. So standard on Palisades now. All right, coming along to the side here, you can see we've got 20-inch aluminum alloy rims. These are surrounded by Bridgestone Duelers, so it's a 245/50 R20, and it's a reasonably nice looking rim, nothing crazy. Having a look at the mirrors, of course, you do have the marker lights on the mirrors here and here. And then check this out. This blew my mind. So not only do you have blind spot monitor, you can see the icon right here, but look what it says right here. Auto dimming and heated, of course. So these now also dim. That's for 2023. They upgraded that on the Palisade, so pretty cool. But you'll notice there is a lack of a button on the handle. This one does not have proximity entry. You do need to use the remote key fob to unlock the doors. Come around to the back here. So standard tail light system, just incandescent bulbs, nothing special. We do have a twin chrome exhaust, which is nice. And we do have also backup sensors on this vehicle, as well as a backup camera right there. Let's have a look in the back. Now, this vehicle has been equipped with the cargo mat, as well as some nice rubber mats, but ignore that because that does not come with the vehicle. So no power foldings third row on this one, of course, but you can see we do have a 60/40 split on the third row, and we do have the ability to quickly fold down the second row simply by pushing those buttons there. And with everything folded down, you can see just oodles of space. We've got a total of 86 cubic feet now with all the seats down. With the second row up, it's 46 cubic feet. With the third row up in the very, very back, it's about 18 cubic feet. So quite a bit of room. As a matter of fact, there is plenty of room here if you wanted to throw a mattress in and sleep it. Maybe you're going camping or whatever, car camping. So that's pretty cool. Now, underneath the floor in the back here, you can see we've got a couple things as well. So we'll pop this open. It does come with a free privacy cover, which is nice. And then, of course, you got your jack and your tools there, and a free cargo net as well. Now, that privacy cover, that actually locks into one of those two spots there. So when the third row is down, you can actually have this covered up by a privacy cover. The reason there is two spots is because you can actually recline the second row, so to get it out of the way. Now check this out. You can see we have a wonderfully lit up USB-C port there, as well as two cup holders on that side, and exactly the same thing on the right side. So 4 cup holders in the very, very back, as well as 2 USB ports. Right on the left side here, you can also see we have a 12-volt power outlet as well. Now, the hatch, as you can see, tons of space underneath the hatch for anybody who is 6'2" or shorter, you're not going to have to worry about banging your head. There's lots of room there. So really, really high hatch, which is nice. Okay, let's check out the second row. By second row, of course, I mean third row. We got to check out the third row first. So one of the things I really, really like about the Palisade is it gives you two buttons to actually move the seat out of the way. So if it's an adult, they can quickly press that button. Toddlers can press this button down here. So in order to quickly move the seat out of the way, they can access it really easily. All right, so let's jump into the third row. Okay, so that's not too bad. It's a reasonable amount of space. I'm going to go ahead and move the seat all the way back and click it in. And you'll notice now this seat is too far. However, let's just adjust that. See now I got plenty of room. So as an adult, I can sit back here. I wouldn't want to be here for more than maybe 2 or 3 hours tops, but it is reasonable. And of course, you can get 3 adults back here as well. Rather tight. Better to have the adults in the second row, kids in the very back. But other than that, as I mentioned before, I got my USB port, I got my armrest, my cup holders. I got vents along the ceiling here. Now these vents actually have the ability to defuse the air or have directed air, which is kind of cool. And then also, you can see we've got the ultrasonic sensors here. So those ultrasonic sensors detect the presence of pets and children in the vehicle. And if you leave the vehicle shut off and locked, it'll actually set the horn off and it'll send a message to your cell phone saying, hey, you left somebody in the car. All right, so actually in the second row now, you can see the amount of space I have in front of my knees here is what basically allowed me to be able to sit in the third row, because if I have somebody behind me, I can actually slide this seat forward, still to a comfortable position, and now it's actually far forwards than it was when I was sitting back there. So there's actually a reasonable amount of space in the third row, assuming the second row is slightly further forwards. And you can only do that because the second row has a ton of legroom. And check this out, I can actually fit my feet underneath the seat, no problem, because there's a nice amount of space under the seat. Also back here, other amenities, of course, include the multiple position reclining seat, which is nice. I can actually put this in any place I want, in between 90 degrees and whatever this degrees is. You've also got a center cup holder armrest here, and it is cushioned. It's really nice and cushiony, and you got the cup holders there. And then if we look at the door, you can see we've got more cup holders in the door and a bottle holder or just a storage compartment there. And check this out, retractable sunshades. How cool is that? The seat backs here are nice and solid. There's pockets in each one of them, and also a USB-C port in each one of the seats for the rear passengers. You got a 12-volt port down here, and check this out, you've also got automatic climate control for the second and third row, and even heated seats in the second row as well. Okay, powering the 2023 Hyundai Palisade is a 3.8 liter direct injection V6. Now this is 291 horsepower, 262 foot-pounds of torque. It's made into an 8-speed automatic transmission. Nothing crazy about the transmission. The nice thing, of course, being 8-speed, it is a very, very smooth shifting transmission. And that is a reasonable amount of power as well coming from that motor. Paired with that transmission, the acceleration is adequate. It is really nice and smooth though. One of the things I love about Hyundais is the ease of access to the air filter. So there's the air filter right there. It takes 2 seconds to replace. You can easily do that at home. And then just the regular the overall layout of the vehicle, the engine bay. You got some nice covering on the sides here to reduce road noise, of course, road and wind noise. You got some insulation over the wheel wells, insulation along the back firewall, and then insulation on the hood, which is really, really well buttoned up. Of course, the hood is held up by struts as well, so really, really nice place to be if you're needing to do maintenance on this vehicle. All right, let's check out the front seat. So now, before I jump in, let's go over the driver's side. So you do have tilt, height, of course, forwards and backwards, backrest, and lower back support. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-way power adjustable seat. And of course, the headrest is adjustable as well. The passenger side, unfortunately, it is just a manual seat. So you got your backrest there, and then your seat position with the bar in the front. All right, sitting in the driver's seat now. Quick thing, this is pretty cool actually. This is the child safety lock mechanism, so no longer do you need to do that on the rear doors. You can actually do that right from here, and it locks the rear doors and all the windows as well, which is pretty cool. On the dashboard here, you can see we've got our power e-brake, which is automatic. So if you come to a stop, put the vehicle into park, if it's on a bit of a hill, it'll actually set the e-brake for you, and it also releases automatically. Dimmer switch there. You got tow haul mode as well, and then of course your traction and stability control. The steering wheel is tilt and telescopic using the little handle right here, and you'll notice on the back of the steering wheel, we got paddles. Those of course are for shifting gears manually. You have all of your controls for your multimedia system here, as well as the voice recognition, which works for navigation, phone calls, and placing radio stations or changing radio stations and whatnot. On the right hand side of the steering wheel, you have the controls for the little instrument cluster there, which we'll talk about in a bit, and of course your adaptive cruise control controls here, and lane keep assist at low speed. So it has lane centering at pretty much any speed, so 60 kilometers or less, you press this button to turn it on. And then for higher speed, 60 kilometers or faster, there's an automated system that can be enabled and disabled as well. Automatic headlights, of course. However, we always put it on headlights on so that we have daytime, or we have running lights in the rear during the daytime as well. It does have automatic high beams as well. And then on the right-hand side, we've got your typical windshield wiper stock. Nothing too crazy there. It does have automatic rear wiper though, so when you put the vehicle into reverse, it turns the rear wiper on for you, assuming the front wipers are on. All right, so as for space in the front seat, I don't think anybody was really concerned about this, but I'll go over it. So right now I've got the seat at its lowest position. I've got the seat back fairly upright in a comfortable position, but look at the amount of space I have above my head. It's just insane. Now, of course, this one does have the height adjustment, so as we raise the seat up, you can see the difference in height from base to max. So there's the max position there, and I still have reasonable headroom. So a very commanding driving position. I've got great visibility all around. The windows are all very large and easy to see through. And of course, with the blind spot monitoring system, absolutely no concerns about piloting this vehicle. All right, having a look at the center console, you can see we've got tons of space in here. We do have a USB port, so charge cell phones and tablets and whatnot. And of course, also a 12-volt port as well. And this USB port, guys, this is a USB-C port. There is one USB-A port in this vehicle right here. That's for the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Seats are cloth in this vehicle, but they're a pretty nice looking seat, wouldn't you say? I mean, you've got a bit of a two-tone color scheme going on, some lines in there as well, and they're a very, very comfortable seat. So new for 2023, of course, was the steering wheel and dash design. This actual vent system carries all the way across to the other side. It looks quite sharp. And you can see we've got the same sort of thing on this side here. So the vents are sort of integrated into this sort of design element. It looks really, really good. Further over the in front of the console here, we've got our cup holders and storage area. Now these cup holders can actually be folded out of the way, and then if you want to bring them out, you just press those little buttons there. No wireless charger on this trim, but you've got your USB port here. You set your phone down. That'll of course give you the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You got heated seats, of course, on this one, and a full 360-degree heated steering wheel all the way around, nice leather wrapped steering wheel. You have your shift-by-wire transmission. Now, lovely thing about this is that if you put the vehicle into drive and your e-brake is on, it'll actually take your e-brake off automatically. If you jump out of the car, take your seatbelt off, it'll actually put it into park automatically. And if you shut the vehicle off without putting it into park, it'll do that for you automatically as well. You do also have auto hold on this vehicle, so if you let your foot off the brake and you haven't pressed the gas yet, the vehicle basically will stay in place whether you're on a hill or not. You got various drive modes here, so this is the drive mode selector. So you got Sport, Eco, Smart, Comfort, Eco, Sport, and Smart. Comfort is going to have a nice loose steering wheel, and the engine is going to be a little bit lackadaisical. In Eco mode, you'll have normal steering, but it's going to be also a little bit better on fuel, and it's going to default mainly to front-wheel drive almost all the time, unless it detects some slipping. The Sport mode is going to default mainly to all-wheel drive, and Smart mode kind of looks at how you're driving. Sport mode will also tighten up your steering wheel, forgot to mention. Smart mode will look at how you're driving and adjust accordingly. And then on the other side here, you got snow, mud, and sand mode. This vehicle has a variable locking center differential, so it's not so much a lock as it is clutch plates that adjust how much power goes front to rear. So when you have it in the different terrain modes, it can actually adjust the amount of power going to the rear wheels based on the terrain mode that you're in, just to make it, the best possible scenario for this H-Track all-wheel drive system. Really good system, designed and engineered here in Canada by Magna International, or partially designed in Canada by Magna International anyway. And it's looking at over 50 different sensors to figure out, what it needs to do based on, road conditions. What's really nice about the system, though, is that it puts it into all-wheel drive anytime you're accelerating, so it mitigates the potential for the front wheels to slip by just putting all-wheel drive right away, and then it tapers off to front-wheel drive as you build the speed. So, pretty good system. All right, so looking above that system, of course, we have the dual zone automatic climate control with 3 different levels, which is nice. So yeah, we always recommend to our clients to put it on a temperature that you're comfortable with, and then just let the car figure it out from there. It does have the option to synchronize temperatures, and of course you also have the rear temperature display here as well. When you hit the rear climate button, it puts the climate control information up on the screen, and this is touch sensitive, so you can actually change the controls up here without having to use the controls down here, whether it's for the front or the rear. So everything is controllable from here. You also see we can lock out the rear climate controls as well. And one of the nice things about the recirculate system is it comes on automatically when you use your windshield washer fluid. It also has automatic dehumidify and automatic defog. Another nice option here to point out is the rear warmer screen. So you can actually enable and disable the rear heated seats right from the screen. So if your kids left them on and you want to turn them off, you can do that right from here. All right, looking above the climate control, you can see we've got buttons, hard buttons, and knobs for the stereo. So you got your volume knob, your tuning knob over here, and of course you got your map, nav, radio, media, seek, track, and a customizable button here, which you can choose to do whatever you want. We usually set that up to open up Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and the setup button to get you to the setup screen. All right, next I want to talk about this really cool instrument cluster, actually. So this instrument cluster is not fully digital, even though it does look fully digital. So what I mean by that is basically you got a couple things on the screen here that do change a little bit when you put the vehicle into different drive modes, for instance. So there's sport mode, eco mode's green, and then comfort mode's blue. But you have your digital reading for your speedometer and your tachometer, and then in the center screen, of course, you have all of your trip computer stuff. So what I'd like to do real quick is just go over some of the options in that center screen. And to do that, I'm going to use these 2 buttons right here. So this button will scroll across the menus on the top of the screen, and then this button will allow me to go up and down within those menus, or reset them by holding OK, or go into sub-menus by pressing OK. So that's OK button and then up and down. All right, so starting with this screen here. So this is the lane keep assist information screen and smart cruise control screen. Basically, this shows you whether there's a car in front of you or you're drifting out of the lane or something like that. Next one over, sorry, I gotta see if there's anything else in here. No, so there's nothing else in here. So the next screen over, we have our drive information screen. So that's like your trip computer. So that's since we reset or since the last time the car was started. Then we have our since refueling trip computer. We'll reset that as well, although we do need to get fuel for this vehicle still. We have our accumulated info. It's like your trip A or trip B. And then you have the auto stop timer. So if I hit the top button again, bounces over to a compass. Now, this vehicle, of course, does have built-in navigation. Let's quickly just try the built-in navigation voice recognition. Find the nearest Walmart.
5 results found.
2.
Would you like guidance?
Yes. All right, so you can see just how easy it is to use the voice recognition with built-in with the built-in navigation, sorry. But you'll notice now on this screen we have our turn-by-turn directions and we have our time and distance to destination. So that's basically using the up and down button now to cycle through those 2 screens. Next screen over is the tire pressure monitor and the all-wheel drive info screen. So this will show us where power is going to, which wheels are getting power as you accelerate, that sort of thing. And that's pretty much it. So then it bounces back over to that screen. So yeah, that's everything in there. Now I did forget to mention actually, the bottom left here is your current speed limit. So of course, because this vehicle has built-in navigation, it knows what the speed is on the roads that you're going. So this will actually show us the speed limit, which is pretty cool. Bottom right is your overall speedometer and of course your exterior temperature. And then on top here, you have your range till empty, 222 kilometers, and kilometers to destination. And of course, the gear that you're currently in. All right, so before we talk about the center screen, let's just look up at the mirror. Now this is a auto-dimming mirror. It does have the home link buttons, which is nice. But other than that, nothing too crazy about that mirror. And then further above that, we have controls for our sunroof, which is cool. So this vehicle, yes, it has a sunroof. We have our individual map lights. There you are. So there you are. So just regular incandescent lights. We have all lights on when the doors are open, and then all lights on when you press this button. And then as far as the SOS button and tow truck button go, that is part of the BlueLink system. So this is to call for roadside assistance, and this is to call for emergency assistance. BlueLink in Canada, anyway, comes free for 3 years, after which it should be somewhere around $10 to $30 per month, depending on the package you go with. Of course, that isn't set in stone yet. That could change in 3 years. But for now, free for 3 years, which is pretty cool. Okay, let's look at the sun visors real quick. They both slide out, and they both have mirrors, and they both have lights. And then the sunroof, you'll notice if I hit the back button here, it does open up this way, and it comes to a stop right there. But it also will tilt if you press the button upwards. So let's do a quick look there. So of course, there we go. It tilts up, and then press it again forwards to close it. And of course, this has a manual shade. All right, so while this vehicle does come with the navigation system, it doesn't come with Bose audio or anything. This is just a standard factory audio system. I believe it's 8 speakers, and it's reasonable. It's not spectacular, but it does the job. But yeah, let's talk about the screen. All right, so we're going to start at the home screen. Yes, the home screen, the screen that you get to when you hit the home button twice. All right, so on this screen, you can see we got our clock, we got our current radio station, quick indicator of what's going on with the map system. And any of those spots that I tap will actually bring up the screen related to what we just looked at. So that brought up the time and date settings. This brings up the stereo, of course. And then if I hit the map over here, it just brings up the map screen. So that's the home screen. Also available right there if you just do a quick slide over. All right, this is the home screen, of course. We have our map navigation menu. Phone takes you to where you can just dial a phone number, search a contact or whatnot. Phone projection is basically Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. Voice memo is where you can record your voice, play it back later. Climate screen we've already looked at, so that's there. Valet mode is part of the BlueLink system, so you can actually lock out a valet from some of the access to the vehicle. Passenger talk, this is pretty cool. This allows you to talk to the passengers in the rear of the vehicle. If you are trying to, if you don't want to yell, basically what it does is it takes your voice input through the microphone that's normally used for your, placing phone calls and whatnot, and then pipes it out of the very, very rear speakers. That's pretty cool. Quiet mode will shut off the rear speakers completely and limit the front volume to level 25. Rear climate, same as the climate control screen, so we'll ignore that for now. This vehicle does have HD radio data. This is pretty cool. You can see the current traffic events. You can go to Doppler radar, assuming it's available. It's not available at the moment. And one of my favorite things, fuel prices. So you can actually see what the fuel price is in your area. You can find the cheapest place and then just hit go. Guys, this is dollars per liter. It is not gallons. I'm in Canada. So no, our gas is not cheap. It's still expensive. Okay, moving back to the main screen here. So you can see we have a setup button, but we also have our radio media BlueLink. So BlueLink just gives us more BlueLink options where we can check the weather, straight through BlueLink, check our vehicle diagnostics, that sort of thing. Need BlueLink set up for that to work though. Notifications is BlueLink notifications. And then the user manual gives you a QR code that you can scan with your phone to get a digital manual. And one of the cool things with that, actually, let's go to the radio real quick. If I go to the menu here and then go to user manual on web, if I scan this, it actually takes me to the user manual and straight to the page that talks about the radio. Super cool. All right. So starting with the map. So we have different options in the map. There's our 3D view, for instance. Really, really easy to use this mapping system, guys. If you wanted to set a destination using the physical system, you can just go to nav. The nav button down here brings up the nav screen. You can then go search and type in an address. Pretty easy. If you wanted to use the voice recognition, you would just say find an address in British Columbia and kind of go from there. You can add your home and work address and then multiple favorites. And that way you use voice recognition, just say go home or go to work or go to, Cindy's house, and it'll show you the map for that. So pretty easy to use. I'm not going to go into phone because that's pretty obvious, but I need a phone connected to it anyway. And I've kind of gone into everything else there already. So let's look at the radio. So we've got our older style, the vacuum tube look. Not really personally a fan of the vacuum tube look. I like that they did with the newer system. So for whatever reason, this still uses the older software. That may be changed via an update. But anyway, you do have AM FM, and satellite radio. So we'll turn that down real quick. Satellite radio is free for 3 months. And you'll notice the presets down at the bottom here can be any band. They don't have to be a specific band. You don't have all FM presets and then all AM presets. It's just whatever your favorite channels are, regardless of where they're coming from. As I mentioned, it does also have HD radio, so that's where you enable that. Gives you a slightly better signal. It gives you more radio data, like who's playing, like what music's playing, that sort of thing. All right. That's the radio, pretty straightforward. Media just takes you to media playback from other devices. So you can see here we got FM, Sirius XM, Bluetooth audio, USB music, Sounds of Nature, AM, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay. Sounds of Nature, that is, again, yeah, so this is the older software, so it's still just these particular settings. So this is basically everything that you can listen to. So if we switch to Rainy Day, I'll turn that up a little bit here so you can see what that is. And we got Open Air Cafe. I don't know why that's considered calming, but whatever. So that's the Sounds of Nature. All right. Okay, let's have a look at the setup screen. So we're going to hit the setup button here, and I'll show you some of the things you can do here. So if we go into the vehicle setup, this is pretty nice. So initially we have our driving assistance screen. So driving convenience. Here's where you can change the smart cruise control, like how quickly it, or how close it follows the vehicle in front of you, how quickly it adjusts to changes in the distance. You know, it's how quickly it accelerates, how quickly it reacts to it. So pretty cool. We're going to leave it on that setting. Speed limit warning, you can enable and disable that. You can even have a speed limit assist, so it automatically adjusts based on the speed limit of the road. Change the level of the volume, warnings, or warning volumes rather. Haptic warning, this is kind of interesting. So it'll actually vibrate the steering wheel if there's a concern of some sort. So if there's like somebody in your blind spot or whatever, or you're backing up and you're getting too close to an object, it'll actually vibrate the steering wheel. Driver attention warning. So this is where if it notices that the car in front of you has left, it'll give you a little. Sorry, that's leading vehicle departure alert, not driver attention warning. Leading vehicle departure alert will warn you if the car in front of you has started to take off and you're still waiting for it. But it does also have driver attention warning, which will alert the driver that they might be getting tired. So that's pretty cool. Driving safety. So you got forward autonomous emergency braking. You have your lane keep assist safety. You have your blind spot safety as well. Now blind spot provides a collision when a risk or blind spot collision is detected, and it also provides emergency assistance in the form of braking if you are still, drifting over to that other car. It also has, it's pretty cool, provide warning when door control when approaching vehicle is detected in the vehicle's blind spot. So if you're parallel parked, it'll actually detect vehicles about to pass you, and it'll keep the rear doors locked and provide a warning saying, hey, don't open the door. There's your rear cross traffic safety. So not only does it warn you when there's a car or pedestrian about to pass behind you, but it'll also hit the brakes for you. And then you can enable and disable different options in the rear camera. So I'm going to show you the backup camera real quick now that we're looking at that. So a really clear image. You got dynamic steering lines there. You have the ability to change the camera angle to straight down. And you also have on the right-hand side here the proximity alert system for the backing up. So the parking sensors. Wow, I'm tongue-tied here today. All right. And that is everything in the driving assistance. Driver mode. Here's your tow mode, so you can actually change the weight of the trailer. So that's cool. Cluster. We have cluster illumination, themed selection, which we already showed you with the different drive modes. Here's where you can also change your service interval. You can change what's on the screen. So for instance, you got your wiper light display and your icy road warning. Welcome sound just plays a little sound when you turn the car on. Under climate, some climate settings, which we already looked at when we were in the climate control screen. You got your one-touch turn signal settings, your headlight delay and high beam assist, which I already mentioned. Controls for the locking of the doors and whatnot. And then under convenience, you have your auto rear wiper and rear occupant alert, which I also talked about earlier. And of course, you have your settings for your navigation, your sound settings, where you can change treble and bass and stuff like that, and where the sound's coming from. This is where you would add a phone to Bluetooth, for instance. User profile is pretty cool because you can actually set up the whole car to remember the driver, so that when you get in, you choose your driver, and it'll actually all kind of go back to those settings. Screen layout. So this is where you can actually change what clock comes up when you shut the screen off, and of course your split screen settings as well. So split screen, what I mean by that is when you're in, for instance, the map or the stereo, you can split the screen into two things, so you can see multiple things on the screen at once. Under display here, you can see we have our brightness, but also it has a blue light filter, so we'll set that up to level 5. So as it gets dark, it'll start to filter the blue light out of the screen to make it a little nicer on your eyes. We also have blue link settings here, and our general settings. This, for instance, is where we can do our updates. Now check this out. It is over-the-air updates, but you just do need to have blue link enabled. So that's pretty cool. So once this is got blue link enabled, and the update is done, chances are this will all change to the newer system. All right, so that is the 2023 Palisade LE. Bizarre feature package. I'm super confused as to the decision to do some of the things on this vehicle. But having said that, for a sub $50,000 three-row SUV, this thing is incredibly well equipped. And of course, you get that 5-year, 100,000K warranty that covers almost everything. You get the 3 years of free Blue Link. You get the 3 months of satellite radio. You get 5 years of roadside assistance. You know, it's a very, very nice package. The fact that it doesn't have the push-button start is not a big deal to me. I mean, some people might hate that. If you're looking for those options, of course, the next trim level up would be the preferred trim. So that'll have some of those things. It's going to have basically everything that this one has, plus a couple more features. And it's not that much more. I believe it's about $2,000 more than this one. So the features that come in that may be worth it for you. Maybe they're not. But the reason Hyundai put this one out is because, of course, they dropped the Essential trim, thankfully, because honestly, the Essential trim was really boring. Didn't really have a lot of good features anyway. So yeah, no more 18-inch rims on these at all. That's all 20-inch rims as well. So if you've made it this far, I thank you so much for your support. If you like this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you have any questions about the Palisade, whether it's the Urban, Preferred, Calligraphy, or LE, please don't hesitate to leave a question below. And of course, check out my channel for other videos related to Palisades. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.